Hello everyone, it's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio, and today I'm sharing with you the speed up of the live stream from Thursday, 5/16/2019, all about mark making and what mark making means in your art. Mark making is a way of developing your style, and you probably started mark making when you were a child using those crayons, which you can still use in your art to make great resist techniques. But nowadays, you're making them with everything from your pencils and pens to different types of brushes to credit cards to any type of thing that you could possibly find. And so that's what we were talking about. Why do we do mark making? It is because it develops our personal style and changes something that is just a commercialized something into our personalized art. So I wanted to work over a gel print of a stencil today because this is one where I had been gel printing and I had too much paint, and so I just lifted off some of the paint so that I can continue into my process. And it's just very generic piece of paper with some stenciled paint on it. That's not my personal art. That's something that someone else designed. So I can change this piece to make it something that is mine. And I started out just by doing some different coloring type things with my mark making, which I started with gelatos and blending with my finger. You know, your best mark making tool is your fingers. And then I moved to these Stabilo Woodies, which are a highly water reactive colored pencil that's very fat and fun to hold. And it does really help you develop your personal marks because it's hard to control. A smaller thing is easier to control. So it makes you looser to use a big fat brush or pencil or something like that. And I'm just blending these with a brush, just adding some color over the top of this stenciled piece and showing how you can change it to make it into your own art by using your own marks. So once I was done with adding color, which, you know, it's just fun. Coloring's fun, right? That's why so many people are selling adult coloring books these days. Um, then I switched over to, I guess I'm still doing Stabilo Woodies. I guess I did that for a while. I switched over to some other tools, and believe me, anything is fair game. Something out in the wood shop is fair game if it makes an interesting, interesting mark. Something, your bubble wrap makes interesting marks. Um, you can create your own mark making tools by cutting out pieces of styrofoam or foam, craft foam, uh, just anything like that. So I just got out a couple of my tins of different things that I make marks with. Was talking about that. This is the one. This one has all circle shapes, and there's everything from tubes from the insides of paper rolls to just weird stuff. I think that was like a packaging piece from my Keurig coffee machine, maybe. I think it makes interesting marks. Anything that you possibly could find. Um, Trash. This was the inside of a, a Scotch tape dispenser, and it makes double marks. Um, and I was talking about how using your gel plate as an ink pad if you're going to use acrylic paint, which is the thing that I most commonly use on my pieces because it's permanent and I can use it in multiple layers. Then you can also, of course, pick up that marked up paint off your gel plate, and it becomes an interesting collage piece, which you'll see me use that piece that I showed later. Here's a straw. Um, then I was just showing some other stuff that I have. Stencil waste is a fun one. Drywall tape is fun. Here's some bubble wrap, for wrapping your packages. All these things change something that's very ordinary into something that is your personalized art. And it's also just extremely fun. It's just fun. And this piece is getting so crazy. I mean, I needed to stop at some point. But I was showing off all these different things that I've made to make over the years. And I just keep them in bins under my desk and I pull them out every once in a while. They're also fun to use with your mono printing plate, your gel plate, by making marks onto the plate using all these pieces. So yeah, just fun stuff. Um, and like I said, anything that you might find anywhere can be a mark making tool. And when your brain says I'm going to use that to make a mark, and you make a mark in your art, it becomes more personalized. That's all we were talking about. There are of course a lot of artists out there that their mark making became so distinct that we can recognize their art by the 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 mark making that they do, like Picasso with his swirls and dots, and Pollock, who used paintbrushes and just splattered paint on to make an abstract. Very recognizable styles, and that is how you develop your style, is to figure out what kind of shapes and marks and things that you like to make, and then using them over and over in your art does develop your personal style. So that's all we were talking about. So, um, of course, you can go over and watch the live stream in its recorded version, which is just basically the entire live stream only recorded, and it's in real time. And Peg and I are both working on different projects. I decided to take this piece of paper that I had modified and put it in my art journal. This art journal is getting down to maybe 8 or 9 pages left, so I'm trying to work in it and get it finished up so that I can say that I've completed an art journal. I love it when that happens. So I just cut this paper down and tore it a little bit, glued it onto my art journal page, and then I used a baby wipe to apply some Dilutions paints. This is a Dilutions journal, so that has that lighter weight, smooth paper, and this is how Diane Reevely applies her personalized paint to her pages, is often with a baby wipe, a very thin layer. So I decided to do that. It doesn't warp the pages as much if you do it that way. You could also apply the paint with a brayer, which is another great mark making tool. Or, you know, paintbrushes, anything like that. I just was using a baby wipe this time and blending the paint around it to get rid of that white in the middle, and using similar colors to what I had used to jazz up my stenciled printed stencil piece, whatever you want to call it. It was a gel printed piece using a stencil from Stencil Girl. So then this is just a little bucket of stuff that I have on my desk. When I'm doing a project and I have little pieces left, I throw some of them in that bucket just for later, because I like to glue paper to things. That's what I like to do. I'm a collage artist, and that's what I enjoy. So I just grabbed some pieces that were similar in color to what I was already using, and maybe a couple more pieces of that paper that I had modified. And that one's an envelope. That's the little piece that I had gotten from pulling up some of the paint off the gel plate as I was using it as an ink pad. I think I said that was a tip that I had. I don't know if I said that or not. To use your one of your small gel plates as an ink pad, a paint pad, when you're mark making, because it will hold the paint, keep it a little bit moist, and make it easy to pick up. Kind of like a palette, I just like to use my gel plates for that sometimes. And I'm just gluing all these little scraps and bits and pieces that were around my desk in that tub to make an abstracted background. Here I was thinking I would pull up some of that paint again, and I decided to use it to kind of unify some of my collage by just pressing it down here and there over my page. And then I picked up the rest of it with some scrap paper that I had. Then I decided to do some mark making with palette knives. Those are fun. They come in plastic and metal, and I'm using the same Dilutions paints to just create some abstract flower shapes and leaf shapes with the palette knife, and that's how I finished the page. I did actually when I finished that at the end of the show, it was extremely wet, so I couldn't finish up on screen because the show is over. We go for an hour and a half and then we're done. Um, so I did add some sticker words across the bottom that say spring, and I did add some more marks using a bright blue, similar to the color of the page, Posca pen. So those two steps you won't see, but you'll see the pictures at the end. You'll see what happened when I did that. But I had to wait a long time for the paint to dry. I tried drying it with a heat tool, and then I even just continued waiting because, of course, when you're making marks with a palette tool, it gives a pretty thick layer of very dimensional paint. It's touchable. It gives you texture and dimension, so it also takes a long time to dry. So if you've enjoyed this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment or question below. If this is your last video of the day, please watch it to the end and then switch to a different channel, maybe late night or something before you turn it off. And you can share this on Pinterest or on Facebook. All those things help my channel grow. Also, the links to the art sharing community on Facebook called Art Joy of Sharing that goes along with our channel is in the description box below. Thanks. Bye-bye.